I'm Bruno Lacey. I'm the Lisbon grower for Noocity Urban Farms. So I'm responsible for designing, installing and looking after all the urban farms that we create here in the city of Lisbon. One of the great advantages of the Noocity system is that it's very rich compost. Because we look after the garden regularly and are frequently harvesting, we can plant things much more closely than you would in conventional agriculture. So here we have lettuces interplanted with spring onions. There's 25 lettuces in this 1.5 square meters, and there's probably about 20 or 30 spring onions planted between them. So these are going to take about 3 weeks until the first harvest of lettuce leaves, and then the spring onions will be ready probably in about 6 to 8 weeks, depending on how big you want them to be. Now the next bed looks kind of lonely and empty, but they've got a lot of growing to do. These are the courgettes, and each one of these plants will take up this much space. And they're very, very hungry. So they really need a lot of nutrients from the soil and a lot of moisture. So we don't plant anything with them. And we hope to get at least 10 or 15 courgettes from each plant. Here we've got one of my favorites, acelga. Chard, Swiss chard, rainbow chard. It's more nutritious than spinach. It looks beautiful. It comes in varieties of red, orange, green, yellow, pink, which you can't see yet because they're only babies. But when these grow, they will really provide a fantastically beautiful rainbow of color. And that rainbow of color also represents different nutrients. So the fact that you've got reds and oranges and yellows and pinks and greens in there, those are all linked to nutrients. So rather than just getting your greens from your spinach, you actually get anthocyanins and beta-carotenes as well, which provide a much wider range of nutrients. You can treat it just the same way as spinach in the kitchen, so you can have the baby leaves raw, but you can also have the larger leaves steamed. You could do a spinach and feta pie. My favorite is with lots of butter and garlic and paprika and salt. You could throw in some new potatoes in there, and that's absolutely amazing. Here they're still very small. This is probably my second favorite crop. You can't even really see them here, but this is a red frills mustard. The leaves, it's another beautiful plant with a unique taste that you will not get anywhere in the supermarket or in a restaurant. And then we have leeks planted in between them. Those are going to take about 10 to 12 weeks to reach maturity, I would imagine. Here we've got parsley, that's just super easy to grow. That grows almost all year round here in Lisbon, with red beetroots in between. Another real privilege, there's nothing quite like being able to harvest your own fennel out of the garden. And it's got this very, very bright acid green that you can see. So we've stuck it next to some purple basil, because that's going to create a really strong visual contrast here in the bed. So while we're waiting for the plants to grow, it's also going to look beautiful. Purple basil is lovely as well. There's a lot of different varieties of basil. I have to admit I don't know exactly which variety this one is, but each one has its own flavor, and you're going to get a much deeper, earthier flavor out of the basil there. Here we've got red and green lettuce. Again, it's something that's going to look beautiful while it's growing. It's not just to eat, it's going to look attractive. There's the offices. They're going to look out. They're going to see this red, green, that deep purple color of the red lettuce. Again, we can interplant it with the onions in this case. And this represents probably the last set of vegetables. After this, we're going to be repeating, because we've got a huge bed dedicated just to coriander, which obviously is fantastic, and to be able to grow it fresh and to have it fresh on your plate is a real privilege. And then we have purple and green kale. Again, very nutritious, very long season vegetable, can grow in all weathers. I like to eat the baby leaves. A lot of people find them too strongly flavored, so they steam them, and that's again a very, very nutritious crop.